Next up is Jeff Veen, who is founder and CEO of Typekit, a widely praised subscription font service that's bringing real typography to the web for the first time. He's also a founder of Adaptive Path and widely acknowledged as a pretty smart guy, also super tall. You're just, wow. And a great speaker, so we're very lucky to have him on stage. 10 minutes, a lesson on designing for disaster.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Hi, everybody. I want to tell you a story that starts this past December on the 17th at 6:24 a.m. I woke up that morning to the sound of splashing water. I heard it coming from the bathroom, so I made my way over there and found this. Yeah. The good news is I knew who this person was. He lives with us. He's 18 months old. He's our son. The bad news is he was working on his third roll of toilet paper, really working him down there. So we started our morning with that, and then moved on downstairs to our regular routine, which is him normally with his bowl of oatmeal applying it to his hair, and me checking in with how the company is doing. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Typekit. We're about 2 years old, and have about 17 people. And one of the ways that we stay very, very connected as a team is by largely abandoning email now and living almost entirely in group chat. In our case, we use Campfire from 37 Signals. We have all these little robots that we have written that talk to different parts of our systems and bring that information into the chat room with us, so code deploys and revenue things and customer support tickets, all that kind of stuff falls in here. It is kind of the heartbeat of our company. And on this particular morning, our pulse was very, very high. Stuff was going on, and it was early, and people were already deploying code and talking about what are we going to do, what are we going to do. So I quickly switched over to one of our sort of systems dashboards to kind of have a look at what they were talking about, and sure enough, there was a graph that can only be interpreted as not so good. I wish that was revenue, but then we'd probably make it green, right? This is a graph that shows that something that has been running very smoothly is now very unsmooth. And to help you understand what this graph means, I'm going to tell you a tiny bit about how our service works. So a couple years ago, browsers finally implemented a standard way for designers to use fonts on the web. And they do so by linking to those fonts, and the fonts get delivered to the user's browser, and the page renders with that typeface. We tried to solve that problem by both hooking up designers with foundries and providing a service. Rather than selling fonts, we sell a subscription to a library of fonts. That means we serve all of the fonts. And so while users are browsing around and looking for fonts that they want to use on their website, they kind of add them to this editor, and then they click that publish button. And when they click that publish button, a few things happen, right? We go out and find the fonts that they wanted and take some sort of style and data about their website and mash that together with a bunch of configuration information from their account. And we put all that stuff together in a thing that we call a kit, eponymously enough. And the kit is something then that embodies all of that information and then goes out on the network and configures their site. They put a little bit of JavaScript in their HTML. It connects to the kit, and it does all those magic things that make the pages look beautiful. We do that, right, by pushing the kit out to a partner who has built a worldwide sort of network of very dumb web servers. This is called a content delivery network, or CDN for short. And what we do is we put our kits on their origin server, and then they get propagated out to the rest of the world. That means when one of our customers, users, audience, hits their page, we serve the fonts and the style and stuff like that from as close as we can to where they are to keep things happening very, very quickly. Now, this is a big architectural decision for us when we started the company, because it allows us on the configuration side of the web app, right, where people are looking for fonts and filtering and configuring and doing all the different kinds of things that you can do on Typekit, we could iterate very, very quickly and do even experimental things and push code out as fast as we could and not worry about the serving of fonts. Having those two systems in isolation allowed us to work faster while maintaining the trust that our users have. Because if we stop serving fonts, their site stopped having typography, and that's really bad. So we have worked hard to keep those systems relatively isolated. So the chart here shows how many kits are queued up to go to the CDN. And the chart is showing that all of them are queued up to go to the CDN. So the problem is that we are trying to push things from Typekit over to that origin server as quickly as we can, and they're just not going. In fact, they're not going at all right now. And by 10 o'clock in the morning, we were 60 minutes behind in pushing kits. So that means when somebody pushes that publish button, it's taking an hour before their website updates. That sucks a lot. So we got together with the team. This is our office, and we do not take this for granted. It's a wonderful office here in San Francisco. And every morning, we do a stand-up, which is kind of an agile process for the whole team getting together, and we go very quickly and very structured through the things that are happening, the projects that are happening, kind of what is the current status, and is there anything wrong? Well, a lot was wrong today. Oh, and by the way, here's a management hack that has worked very well for us. Our meetings start at 10:05, and we're never late. When they started at 10, we never got started before 10:15. I don't know, human nature or something. So what we learned in this meeting is that all of the traffic that's coming to Typekit right now and backing up in that big chart is coming from one account. So that's good. We've isolated where the problem is coming from. That account, in fact, is a big partner of ours. It's a site called about.me, and they do splash pages for people where they can sort of like put up what used to be a homepage, right, and link off to all their social networks. And we provide fonts for them in this really kind of cool new way that we've started doing it. And so you just kind of click on the part of the page. We power all the typography over there, and you get this menu, and you get to choose the fonts, and you get to do all of that kind of cool stuff. All of the traffic is coming from them. The reason all the traffic is coming from them is because they were on TechCrunch today. And so as people were waking up in America, as the time zones moved, tremendous amount of traffic was hammering at about.me, and therefore hammering us as well. We were falling behind and not able to keep up. So I called the CEO of about.me. His name is Tony Conrad. And I say, Tony, we're falling a little behind on the font stuff. And he's like, yeah, I know. We're seeing some tweets about that. I'm like, yeah, we're going to spend a day on it. We're going to totally look into this. I will keep you updated no matter what happens. He's like, great. Also, can you keep a secret? I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, on Monday, we're announcing that we're getting acquired by AOL. And we're going to be in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, and in TechCrunch again, and probably all the other tech blogs as well. So you guys cool with that? And I'm like, yes, of course we are. And I answer that way because Tony Conrad is not only CEO of about.me, but he's also an investor. And in fact, he's the lead investor for Typekit and sits on our board. And is also sitting on the board of WordPress, which is one of our big partners that wants to use a menu like this and is seeing how it's going on about.me. So I'm saying all of this to him, but this is what I'm thinking, right? Like kits, there's kits, it's kits are packing up, they're backing up. So we got basically the 4 people in our company that could solve this problem together in a room. This is December 17. So it's Friday before the Christmas holidays, kind of the busiest social weekend of the year. On Monday, December 20th, our CTO has plane tickets to go back to Boston. Our lead engineer, Paul, was going to go snowboarding this afternoon with his family for the weekend. But we sort of sat down and said, okay, this is it, right? This is a big partnership, and it's also our board member, and it's also leading to much bigger partnerships after this. Are you guys in? And they were. This is one of the reasons that people come to a startup, is to have this sort of direct impact on the future of the company, and everybody cleared their schedules. What we did immediately was define what we were going to do with the time we had, and that helped a lot. That we would spend Friday only identifying where the problems were, and then Saturday building a solution to solve those problems. And then Sunday, we would integrate all of those stuff into our own systems, into our own infrastructure, as well as that of about.me. And that really helped sort of conceptualize like all of this, oh my God, we got to stop the bleeding right now, when in fact we now had a very, very simple, relatively concrete plan. So I'm surprised, Jay, that we both had the same slide. This is not our office, this is Jay's office, but it is an apt metaphor for how we started to solve this problem. The first thing we did was sequester the team. Right? And this was both like physically, they got an entire conference room, nobody's going in, it was theirs, and they were going to be there through the weekend. But also psychologically, they knew they had no other responsibilities whatsoever in the company, and that helped them a lot too. I think it helped the rest of the company a lot too, seeing them in there and knowing we're not going to bug them and they are solving the hardest problems that we have facing us right now. The second part was the opposite of this t-shirt, right? Which is that in a leadership position, I was able to say, all you guys have to do is solve the technical problems. I will come to you for updates every so often, and I will bring those back and transform those and interpret those to the people who care out here. You do not have to worry about the future of the company, about the revenue that we are or not going to make because of this. Just solve the problems. And that helped a lot too. And then thirdly is just moral support. We fill up the fridge with beer and make sure it never gets below 50% empty. So here's what we found. By 2:30 on Friday morning, we had learned that we were producing kits just as fast as About.me wanted them. We were totally keeping up. In fact, had plenty of room to spare. We even found out that the network pipe over to our network provider was totally fast enough. We weren't nearly saturated. What we found was that origin server over at our network partner was not able to accept the kits from us as quickly as possible, which meant that essentially the problem was entirely outside of our control. So what we decided to do on Saturday was to take their origin server and replace it with one of our own. This is, thankfully, our one break here, was a plan that we wanted to do because of the increased flexibility that it would give us around publishing our kits. So we had this largely spec'd out. We kind of knew what we were going to do, and we expected minimum it would take us 6 to 8 weeks to do. So instead, we built it all on Saturday. By Saturday night, the code was largely in place. We had tested it pretty thoroughly, and we set it to work on that big backlog of kits that had been piling up for 2 days now. When we woke up on Sunday morning, they were all where they needed to be, and it was good, and we had plenty of capacity. Fonts were showing up like they should be all over About.me. Yes, and there they are. In fact, when the big announcement happened on Monday about the AOL acquisition, our CTO monitored all the systems from the in-flight Wi-Fi on the Virgin Atlantic flight that he was on. So all of that stuff really worked out. What we learned from this are a few key things. One is kind of this emergency response protocol, right? This has, I think, traditionally been in the domain of IT departments. This has been, when a server melts down, how do we do? What do we do? And they know what to do. But to me, this is a crucial part of the user experience of especially a service-driven web application like we are. Instead of flashlights and bottled water, though, we have things like this. Very, very structured protocol for what to do, all the way down to pre-written tweets and blog posts, that we put all of this in place with a decision tree so that anybody can follow this along, so that if somebody is out, if I'm not able to make a decision from the top, or if our support manager is on an airplane somewhere, even an engineer can diagnose the problem. An engineer who has diagnosed the problem can also speak to the audience, and that is crucial because it's all about trust. So that's been very reassuring now that we see as things are happening, even the smallest, simplest things that are happening that might be unexpected, we have some plan. And this is, of course, a living and evolving document and helps us go. The other thing that is really interesting is that I hadn't ever occurred to me doing this and running a service like this, is that we really are building 3 applications at once. There's the application that our customers see every day. It's the application that we spend so much time working on and talking about and marketing towards and things like that. But there's also the application that our partners use. And in our case, we have built lots and lots of tools for our foundries, but also distribution partners, so things like our APIs and all that kind of stuff. Literally can take as much time managing those as it does to manage the service for our paying customers. But the third one is the one that often gets the most neglect, and that is the application that we build for ourselves to make sure everything else is running well. And I believe that the same level of sort of requirements gathering and user research and user experience design should go into that to make that as an effective tool as possible, just like all the other effort that we put everywhere else. And the final thing really is about the culture of the organization. Events like this are going to happen, and they're going to happen to with regularity as things grow. To me, it's analogous as how an injury, right, would affect your body's immune system. And that's kind of how I think about the culture in our organization. All that effort that we put into the autonomy that we give our people, but the collaboration that they enjoy, the tools that we provide for them, just everything that we do goes in building up that sort of immune system so that when something like this can happen, that does happen, we're ready for it. But just as likely, just as important, it's not just about how we respond and the culture that built up to that, but where we're going and sort of a blueprint for success of the team. So that's what I have. Thank you very much.